Guy Fieri never expected his life to turn upside down in a matter of seconds. One moment he was on set, full of energy, laughter, and that unstoppable Flavortown enthusiasm he's known for, and the next, he was staring at a pain so intense, so sudden, so shocking that even he, the man who has powered through decades of grueling filming schedules, endless travel, and chaotic food competitions, had no choice but to stop everything. For the first time in years, Guy Fieri was forced to sit still, because his body simply couldn't move. And fans around the world had no idea just how close he came to a long-term injury that could have changed his entire career forever. The fall was fast, unexpected, and brutal. Guy later described it in a way that almost sounded like a scene from a comedy movie, except it was anything but funny. He said he looked like he was doing the splits, and as bizarre as that sounds, it was the exact moment his life shifted. 1 second he was walking down the stairs, and the next, his right leg bent and twisted in a way no leg is supposed to move. The pressure built up in a split second, and the impact was so strong that it didn't just strain his muscle, it tore it. Not at the tendon. Not near a joint. But straight through the middle of the quad, one of the thickest, strongest muscles in the human body. It didn't tear cleanly. It exploded. The pain was immediate. The shock was overwhelming. And the fear that followed was real. Guy Fieri has dealt with physical exhaustion throughout his career, long filming days, non-stop travel, constant standing, constant motion, but this was different. This was an injury that didn't just hurt. It shut his entire leg down. He knew instantly something was wrong. But even he didn't know how bad it really was. Doctors later told him they had never seen anything quite like it. One told Fox News Digital, after examining the injury, that in 20 years he had never seen a tear like this. The biggest, thickest part of the quad muscle ripped apart, right down the middle, something that usually only happens in traumatic accidents or extreme sports, not everyday life. And certainly not from a slip on the stairs. Guy explained that normally, if a quad muscle tears, it happens at the tendon or from the tendon detaching from the bone. That's painful, but treatable. What happened to him? That was an entirely different level. The muscle literally pulled apart in the center, as if someone had taken a knife and sliced through it. It wasn't just a tear. It was a rupture so severe that doctors were afraid the muscle might retract further if they didn't operate quickly. If the muscle receded, the long-term effects could have been devastating. Loss of strength. Permanent instability. A change in the way he walks. Even a risk of chronic pain that could affect every moment of his filming life. So there was no waiting. No rest. No, let's see how it heals. Doctors rushed him into emergency surgery, and Guy, the energetic, unstoppable, loud, joyful celebrity chef loved by millions, suddenly found himself staring at a hospital ceiling, surrounded by surgeons preparing to repair a muscle that had essentially torn itself in half. The surgery wasn't simple. They had to locate the torn ends of the muscle, which had curled and recoiled from the force of the rupture, and stitch them together. In cases like this, surgeons have to work carefully and precisely, because one wrong move could affect mobility later. They also have to rebuild the structure of the muscle so it can heal evenly, allowing full strength to return over time. The complexity of the procedure meant Guy would be out of commission for weeks, followed by months of controlled rehabilitation. He wouldn't be able to put weight on the leg for 8 full weeks. 8 weeks of immobility for a man who has built his life on movement, passion, and non-stop intensity. But what many fans didn't know was that at the exact moment of the accident, Guy was in the middle of filming a brand new series called Flavortown, Food Fight. A show full of energy, movement, excitement, and Guy's signature enthusiasm. A show that depended on him being on his feet. A show with an entire cast and crew, cameras, production schedules, and budgets all tied to his ability to keep going. And just like that, everything stopped. The cast froze. The producers panicked. The crew didn't know what to do next. You can prepare for weather delays, script changes, cooking mishaps, but nobody prepares for the host tearing the center of his quad muscle in half. For a moment, everything hung in the balance. Would the whole show be delayed? Would filming be postponed? Would the network have to step in? Guy, even in pain, kept one thing in mind: he didn't want to shut down the production. He didn't want to let his crew down. And he certainly didn't want to disappoint fans waiting for the new series. So he made a decision, an ambitious one. They would keep going. But they would get creative. With Guy now relying on a wheelchair and crutches, the crew had to rethink every angle, every shot, every setup. They filmed him seated. They adjusted camera heights. They shifted blocking. They found ways to keep the energy high while working around the fact that their host could no longer stand. It wasn't easy. It wasn't ideal. But they made it work because Guy insisted that the show must go on. Behind the scenes, it was emotional. Some crew members were worried about him pushing too hard too soon. Others were shocked he was still showing up at all. Guy, on the other hand, maintained his spirit, even if he couldn't maintain his footing. But even with his determination, the limitation was real. 8 weeks of no weight. 8 weeks of limited movement. 8 weeks of having to trust others to help him get around. For a man used to speed, control, and independence, it was a challenge unlike anything he'd faced before. Fans began reacting as soon as the news broke. Social media exploded with comments from people shocked at the severity of the injury. Many had assumed it was a sprain or a minor tear, until they learned that his quad had literally exploded in the middle. Thousands of posts poured in, full of support, prayers, and well wishes. Fellow chefs, celebrities, and longtime collaborators expressed their concern, calling him one of the hardest working personalities in food entertainment. Some joked, gently, that only Guy Fieri could tear a muscle in such an extreme, dramatic way. Others said the injury proved once again that his energy level was almost superhuman, because anyone else would have been out of filming for months. What happens next for Guy is a combination of rest, rehabilitation, and gradual rebuilding. The rehab for an injury like this is intense, painful, slow, and highly structured. It involves stretching, strengthening, and gradual load-bearing, all under strict supervision. Recovery could take many months before he's fully back to his pre-injury mobility. That means he'll need patience, something he hasn't exactly been known for. It also means stepping back from certain commitments, adjusting his filming schedule, and relying on others far more than he's used to. There's also speculation, carefully framed as speculation, about how this might affect his upcoming projects. Will producers slow things down to protect him? Will filming styles shift in future seasons? Could this lead to a new phase of Guy's career that focuses more on storytelling and less on physical movement? Only time will tell, but what's obvious is that Guy Fieri's work ethic isn't slowing down. If anything, this injury seems to have sparked something even more intense in him, a determination to come back stronger than before. But beyond the production angles, celebrity reactions, and future plans, there's a deeper emotional layer here. Guy Fieri has always been a symbol of energy, positivity, and resilience. He's someone who pushes through exhaustion, supports communities, raises money for charity, and brings joy to millions through food. Seeing him vulnerable, forced into a wheelchair, relying on crutches, unable to stand, is something fans aren't used to. And for Guy himself, it's a moment that forces him to confront something nobody wants to face, the reality that life can change in an instant. No matter who you are, no matter how successful, no matter how strong or unstoppable you seem, one misstep, one fall, one freak accident can shift everything. As Guy continues his 8-week recovery before beginning rehab, fans are waiting, watching, and cheering him on. It's a long road, but it's one he's determined to walk, literally, again. And when he finally returns to full strength, when he steps back into Flavortown with that signature grin, this injury will be part of his story. A reminder of his resilience. A symbol of how he pushed through pain, fear, and uncertainty to keep doing what he loves. This wasn't just an injury. It was a wake-up call. A moment of pause in a life that rarely slows down. A reminder that even the biggest personalities face real-world challenges. But if there's one thing fans know about Guy Fieri, it's that he doesn't stay down. Not for long. So as he rests, heals, and rebuilds, the world waits to see how he turns this setback into yet another chapter of strength, humor, and unstoppable passion. From Flavortown to Recovery Town, he's proving once again that no matter what life throws at him, he'll always find a way to keep the fire burning.